Right, day 4, we're here, 20 minutes stronger. And today what I've got planned is legs. So keeping it really simple, and again, in order to keep it in the 20 minutes, I've got a little list of things I want to get through, otherwise I get distracted and I want to do lots of other things. So I want to do 20 minutes and I've got my roughly 4 or 5 exercises that I want to do today for leg work. And what I've got with me in terms of equipment is, for one of the exercises, I've got a band or a loop. This one's a medium resistance band. And I've got some heavier weights. Again, you can use whatever weight you like. You can go heavy, you can go light, you can not use them at all for the purposes of what we're doing today. Up to you entirely. So I'm going to start with some goblet squats, and I'm also going to start by having a look at the time because I'm really keen to keep it in a 20-minute and or less interval. And I'm going to pick up my weight for the goblet squat and I'm going to hold it right close to my chest. And my feet are coming just slightly wider than shoulder distance apart. I'm standing with soft knees and I'm going to bend my hips, bend my knees, take that squat as far as I can, and then press through my feet and come back up to standing. And I'm going to do this 10 times. As usual, we want that lovely control as we come down, that power, but control when you come back up as well. And as usual with squats as well, you're watching that your knees are tracking over your toes. I see it really often when people struggle to get their knees to track over their toes. And let's have 4 more now. 3, 2, 1. Good. Take that weight and bring it down. Just have 20 to 30 second rest, and I'll have a little look to make sure we do that. So with this whole kind of series, it was so important for me, particularly for women, to realize that actually we have such busy lives and such busy days, and we're so busy caring for other people. But even, taking 15 to 20 minutes, making it your time to look after yourself. And there is really no better way to do that than through exercise. We can eat well as well, and of course we can get some sleep. All of that matters as well. But if you can take 20 minutes and just look after strengthening your body, it's an investment into your future self. So we're going to pick up the weight again, and we're going to hold it right close to our chest again. Wider feet, 10 more goblet squats. Bend those hips, bend the knees, sit back into your sit bones and press through the legs. Nice powerful legs to come back up to standing. And we're doing 8 more. 5 more. 4, 3, 2, 1. And with the goblet squats, we are going to do 1 more set. So I'm just going to settle that weight down so I can have a breather. And maybe while I'm having a breather, just have a little roll of my shoulders back. Again, I'm a Pilates teacher and I work in movement. And when I'm teaching and when I'm doing my work, I keep my posture. But when I'm working at my desk and doing admin, of course I hunch over like everyone else. When I'm stressed, my shoulders creep up towards my ears. So now that I have this little chance between sets, I'm going to use it to just give my shoulders that roll back that they so desperately need, but also really enjoy. Last set of goblet squats, so pick up that weight. And we're bringing it right close to our chest again. Slightly wider with those legs. Hips and knees bend and press through the feet, lift to standing. Nice powerful press back up to standing. 8 more. 7. 5. 4. 3. 2. 1. Excellent. So let's pop the weight down, and we're now going to come to lying down, and we're going to use the band. So with the band, we also need, and I've reached out to grab them, some cushions, and if you haven't got Pilates cushions, I mean, fair enough. You can use a folded up towel or a cushion that's just about this thickness. We're going to come and lie on our side on our mat. But before we do that, we're going to get that band just above our thighs. And we've got our knees on our thighs, I should say. So it has been a little bit chilly, so if you can check out my funky, fashionable leg warmers. So we're going to lie on our side. I'm lying on my right side. My right arm is going to be stretched out underneath my head, and the cushions are going between my lengthened arm and my head. And this just assures that I don't have this happening with my head, which is putting a little bit of unnecessary strain on my neck. So I'm just giving it that padding, so I've got that lovely alignment with my head, my neck, the rest of my spine. Top arm just in front of me for support, or you can have it on your hip. I don't mind either way. I quite like having it on my hip sometimes, so I'll keep it there so you can see my body better. And my knees are bent with my feet, the soles of my feet lined up with my bottom. So I know for me that my left bum cheek is a little weaker and less willing to do the work than my right. So I'm going to take my feet a little further behind the back of my pelvis. So they're not quite lined up with my bum, they're slightly further back. I am watching that the right side of my waist is pulling away from the mat, so it's nice and active. And I'm going to keep my feet together and open my knee to the ceiling, pressing into the band, and come back. So I trained with Body Control Pilates, and these are oysters in Body Control Pilates. I think many other schools call them clams. I don't really care what they're called, they're great. So we're doing 10. You're going to do 6 more, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Now I want us to open that knee to the ceiling. You're going to keep the pelvis still, and we're going to pulse it. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and relax. We're going to do a slight variation of clams or oysters here. So you're keeping the feet in this position, the legs in this position, but you're actually going to keep your knees down and lift the feet so they're hovering a couple of inches, maybe even less than that, off the mat, but your knees are still down. I'm going to take my arm in front of me to help me with balance on this one. Open the knee to the ceiling and close. Open and close. 8 more. 7. Now you can do this without a band, of course, but the band gives it a little bit of extra oomph and encourages, the glutes to switch on a little bit more quickly. And last one, and you're going to open and hold, and we're going to pulse. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and relax. Good, little rub or little kind of smack of your bottom if you need it, and we'll turn to our opposite side. So now my right is a stronger leg than my left, which means I can bring my feet so that they line up with the back of my pelvis instead of taking them slightly further back. We're not perfectly symmetrical, so we do need to take these little considerations on board. So if you have a side that is a little bit weaker, needs a little bit more support, adjust the legs accordingly. The further back you take them, it tends to encourage, it's not a guarantee because our bodies are more complicated than that, but it tends to encourage the glutes to switch on a little bit more. So I'm lining up my feet for this side with the back of my pelvis. My knees are bent, my hand, I'm taking it on my hip for this variation, and I just want to open that top knee to the ceiling and close. So I'm keeping my pelvis completely still. I'm keeping my spine stable, and we're going to do 7 more here. Good. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and then I'm going to open that knee and hold. Keep that pelvis still. Pulse. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and relax. Now keep the knees down, lift the feet ever so slightly, and here I like to put my arm down so I'm a bit more balanced. Still keeping that pelvis still. Open the knee to the ceiling and close. Open and close. 8 more. 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. So different on the right side for me. And then open and hold, and we're going to pulse it. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and relax. Excellent. We're going to stick to that for our oysters. So I'm going to get my band off and just check in that we're doing well for time, and we are. So for our next one, we are going to do some backward stepping lunges. I'm going to hold the weights, but all I'm doing with the weights is adding a little bit of resistance. I'm not reaching them forward. You know, sometimes in Pilates we'll add coordinated movements. So bicep curl, this is way too heavy for what we want to do. So I'm just going to hold the weights and then take my right leg, bring it back so the heel is slightly lifted, bend both knees, press back up and step forward. I'm going to stay on the right side, so step back with that right leg, bend both knees, press away and lift back up. I'm going to do 6 more on this side. And look, legs are so important to our overall health. As we age, we want to keep our leg strength up. Lunges and squats, clams, all of these are great for building those big muscle groups in our legs. Great for mobilizing the joints of our lower body, your hips, your knees, your ankles. We're going to do 3 more here. And the lovely thing about backward stepping lunges, as I just demonstrated there, is that you also work on your balance and your proprioception. So that understanding, last one, of where your body is in space. So have a little breather. We're going to go over to the opposite side. Take that big step back, bend both knees, push up and bring the leg forward. And again, big step back, both knees bend, push up and bring that left leg forwards. 6 more here. 4 more. 2. 1. Great. Pop the weights down and have a breather. I'm going to grab myself a drink. So backward stepping lunge, one's of my favorites. Not necessarily easy, but still quite accessible. Really good for that balance, ticking all the boxes. Leg strength, balance, proprioception, and I'll have my drink now, so I'm slightly out of breath. Great, so what I'm going to do is, instead of going straight back into the backward stepping lunges, and again, checking the time to make sure we hit that goal of keeping it under 20 minutes or about 20 minutes, you're going to hold the weights in your hands if you're using them. You don't have to if you haven't got them. We're going to do heel raises. So we're doing 10 heel raises, lift the heels off the mat, and then lower back down. An exercise for life is what I heard this once described as. And it's true. Whew, there you go, a little bit of balance work. I'm working out today in the afternoon and my balance is not as great in the afternoon. Good. Let's have 4 more. So exercise for life, because it gets your calf pump working, it keeps your calf muscle strong, articulates the joints of your toes, your ankles, your arches of your feet. 1 more. Excellent. Good. So I'm going to change my view slightly and we're going to go back to our backward stepping lunges. So we're going to step back with that right foot first, bend both knees, push back up and come back to your start. Big step back, bend both knees, press back up and return to your start position. 5 more. 3. Definitely one that requires concentration. 2. And last one. Good. Same on the opposite side. So stepping back with that left leg. Bend both knees. Take the back knee towards the mat. Push up and come back up to standing. And 7 more here. 5 more. 2 more. And then relax. If you're using weights, pop them down, have a bit of a break. Have a little shake out. Oh, we're doing all right for time. So what we're going to do next is get the weights back in our hands, back to our heel raises, and then we're going to move on to the next exercise, which is a lot about balance. So be entertaining to see how I do in the afternoon, because as I said, not my best part of the day for balance. So pick up those weights for your heel raises. Hands holding the weights in each hand, feet at distance, soft knees in your start position, and lift both heels and lower, lift both heels and lower. 8 more, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Great. Pop the weights down. You are not going to use them for the next one. So, and the other thing I'm not going to use is my mat. So pushing that out to the side. We are going to do single leg squats. I'm not looking for perfection, not for myself and not from others. So what I'm looking for is working on our balance, working unilaterally, so one leg at a time, and looking at where there are some imbalances in the leg, but powering through that one side. So I'm going to start on my right, and my right is my less happy side. So I do tend to start on my left. I'm not left-handed, I'm right-handed, but when it comes to balance, my right is a little trickier. So I'm going to take my weight over to my right leg and bring my left leg up into a knee fold. I'm going to take a few seconds to just get my foot to adapt to that position, and then I'm going to bend my hip and knee. I'm not coming too far down, I'm keeping it manageable and lifting back up. Hip and knee bends and lift back up. And as you can see, I had to make a little micro adjustment. 4 more. 3, 2, 1. Great. Same on the opposite side. So we take our weight over now to that left foot. Get your bearings. Bring that right leg up. And 6 single leg squats on the left. 5 more. When you come back up to standing on that single leg, remember the knee is soft. We're not locking it back. 3, 2, 1. Just about. Good. So single leg squats is one of those exercises that they're really good for you. But they make people feel so uncomfortable, myself included. You want to be successful when you're doing an exercise. You want to complete it and feel like you've done it really well. And some days they're hit and miss with single leg squats for me. So I really have to convince myself that I should do them. Even more so if I'm doing it in front of a camera, because of course I want to be excellent, but sometimes we wobble, and I'm going to give myself permission to wobble. So we're still doing all right for time. We're going to take our weight back to our right leg, pick up the left leg. I always like to think a little bit of connection just through my core, center myself. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Oh, I'm very happy with that. Excellent. Same on the opposite side. So take the weight over to the left. You're going to bring that right leg up, center yourself. If it helps to focus on a point in the room, then go for it. 6 times. Quality over quantity. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Excellent. How are we doing time-wise? We've got 1 minute, and we're going to use that minute to do one more to each side. So, take your weight back over to your right. Lift that leg, left leg, center, into your center. Focus on a point in the room, and 6 times. Two more. And then over to the opposite side. And take that weight across, bring that right leg up. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, almost, 1, and I'm really pleased with that. Well done. That's it. Legs today. Focused on those exercises. 20 minutes with a little bit of chat from me.